If you want to get good at arm wrestling, you will have to learn from your mistakes. But learning from your mistakes takes a lot of time because you have to fail first before realizing that something you are doing is wrong. I want to save you some time, so here are 6 arm wrestling mistakes that I see all the time and how to fix them. Of course, the biggest mistake that you can make is not being consistent with your training. But I'm making this video for people who want to achieve something in this sport, so having work ethic, discipline and being consistent is already something that shouldn't even be mentioned. That's the foundation for building a successful career no matter what field you are in. With that being said, let's start with the first mistake, which is training too light. Like in every other strength sport or sport in general, you should push yourself in training as much as possible. When you do your training sets, everything that is above 8 reps is too light in my opinion. The only exception would be the wrist. Here you can go between 8 and 12 reps. I see a lot of guys doing the training sets with weights that are so light that they can do 15 to 20 reps per set. This is not strength training anymore. That's high volume work. You can do high volume work for recovery or injury treatment, but not if you want to become stronger. If you want to gain strength, use a weight that challenges you. The goal is to pick a weight that lets you do between 5 and 8 reps per set. This will be usually 80 to 90% of your 1 rep max, which is the right intensity for building strength. There are people out there who can get stronger with 5 reps, others need 8. Try out different training strategies and see what works best for you. If you want to pump some blood in an inflamed area or actively heal an injury, then of course you should do some high volume work. This means training with very light weights or resistance bands until the targeted area is pumped with blood. But remember, pump training and strength training are 2 different training methodologies and should be treated accordingly. Mistake number 2 is not having a training plan. If you go into your sessions not knowing what exercises you are going to do, how many sets, which order and so on, you are not taking your training seriously enough. Every elite arm wrestler goes into the gym with a plan already made and nothing is left to chance. If you are a new arm wrestler, I will recommend you to plan your training from week to week. Write your training plan for the first week and follow it. After that, write down what you didn't like about the plan and what should be improved. Next week, you change the things that didn't go well the previous week. You continue this until you are satisfied with your plan and with your results. The more you do this, the better and more accurate you will get. With experience, you will be able to plan the next 2 to 3 weeks of your training right away. You'll know exactly what exercises to do, how many sets, how many reps, and what training frequency is good for you. Mistake number 3 is not analyzing. After a tournament or a super match, when you lose, and even after you win, you just have to sit down and analyze your matches. Analyze your mistakes, think about what you can improve and how you can get better on the arm wrestling table. Write down all the things that went wrong and implement exercises in your training that will help you fix your weaknesses. It's very important to do this because a lot of arm wrestlers are making the same mistakes over and over again without changing anything. This again also applies to everything in life. You have to analyze, and based on your objective analysis, you have to change things up so you will get better results in the future. By doing this, not only that you get stronger, but you also get experience with what works and what doesn't. And without even realizing, you build a foundation to be a good coach, because this is what a big part of coaching is. Analyzing, knowing what works and what doesn't, and knowing when to change things up. Mistake number 4 is trying to copy already established arm wrestlers, both their training and their style on the table. In boxing, there is this thing where a lot of beginners try to copy Mike Tyson. In arm wrestling, the same thing happens, but with guys like Devon Larratt. You have to understand what works for Devon will most likely not work for you. Yes, there are some basic biomechanical principles that apply to everyone, but you have to consider factors like experience, anatomical changes from so many years of arm wrestling, muscle-mind connection, and many more. Everyone is built different, and only by trying different things out and learning from your mistakes, you will understand what works for you. It is completely normal, even recommended, to look up to good arm wrestlers and even to do some of their exercises. But you should not blindly copy everything. Put your mind to work and find out what feels and works best for your own style. Mistake number 5 is not being patient. In 99 out of 100 cases, you will not come into the sport and destroy everybody. Of course, like in every other sport, there are freaks who will be very good from the beginning. But most likely, you are not a freak and you have to put a lot of work into what you are doing if you want to achieve big results. Arm wrestling is a sport that takes a lot of years to get good at. Arm wrestling involves a lot of your tendons, joints, and ligaments. These are very fragile structures in the beginning and it takes a lot of time to adapt to get thick and stronger. You should give yourself time, set bigger goals as you go, educate yourself, and stay consistent. Like in every strength sport, you'll make great progress at the beginning, but eventually things will slow down. That's when you'll need to be patient and find ways to break through plateaus, and that's when the real discipline comes in. In my opinion, a realistic goal is to become a national level puller within about 5 years of arm wrestling. And yes, of course, competition levels vary from country to country, but this is a very achievable goal. In some countries, you might even become a national champion after those 5 years. In other countries with higher competition level, you will be maybe top 5 or top 10. Anyway, if you reach that level, you can consider yourself a national level arm wrestler. Mistake number 6, which is by far the most important one, is not understanding the right angles and vectors you need to apply in your training. Understanding basic biomechanic and anatomic principles is essential if you want to achieve a very high level in any strength sport. You can go by luck and train without understanding those principles only until a certain point. After that, your progress will slow down or you might even hit a plateau. And even if you keep lifting heavier and heavier weights, your performance on the table might not really improve. I will give you an example of the biggest biomechanical mistake that I see people doing. This mistake happens when training the elbow flexors. It doesn't matter if you train your brachioradialis or your bicep. If you want to target the elbow flexors correctly and actually feel the full weight that's on the loading pin or the bar, you have to go down until your arm is parallel to the ground. This principle applies to any elbow flexor exercise. Doesn't matter if it's for the brachioradialis, the bicep, or if you're using a barbell or a dumbbell. The same rule always applies. There are a lot of arm wrestlers who load up extremely heavy weights on the bar, but they don't go deep enough. Your elbow flexors produce the biggest force when your arm is at a 90-degree angle and your forearm is parallel to the ground. This applies also if you train on a pulley system. The angle between your forearm and the rope should be 90 degrees. This principle is so extremely important that I will probably do a separate video about this topic. Of course, when you do a hard set and you push yourself, the last 2 to 3 reps won't be 100% clean. But the first few reps should be as clean as possible to make sure that you're really targeting the muscle correctly. Once you start applying this principle, you will see how much the weights will drop and how much of the difference even a few degrees will make. These were some of the mistakes that I see arm wrestlers making over and over again. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section. I will answer them all. Also, if my videos help you train smarter and get stronger, you can support the channel. Link is down below. Keep your eyes on this channel. Great stuff is coming.